Hi everyone, this is again. Welcome back to Movies Masala with Pinky. Today I am here in Service Studio in Baroda, Sama, and we have Artikadam ji in as one of the. How many artists in total here in?
There are 10 artists.
10 artists.
Yeah.
So she is one of them, and yeah, like we'll start with Artikadam. Like you can maybe give some small introduction about yourself, like where are you from and.
Hi, I'm Aarti and I have done my graduation from Sir J.J. School of Art, Mumbai and Masters from MS University, Baroda. And I have been practicing here since last 15 years. And here in vis-a-vis, I'm working since last almost 2 years. So Baroda offers a very good good opportunity to work in such community studios, and it's a privilege to be part of such.
So are you actually from Baroda or?
No, I'm from Mumbai.
You're from Mumbai.
Yeah.
तो मराठी येते.
Suburbs of Mumbai. I'm from Dombivli actually. Dombivli is towards Kalyan.
हाँ, Kalyan.
From BT to Kalyan. Yeah.
So how come like from that side to this side? Like, what's the story?
Story is very simple.
Okay.
It so happened that I was not at all aware of fine arts.
Okay.
While I was taking the initial training of art, and once by accidentally I visited J.J. School of Art for some.
By accident, or you mean that is the fate? Like.
No. What I'll tell you.
Okay.
I only knew applied arts there. So I went for some intercollegiate function, and then I came to know while roaming in the campus. I came to know about. I knew about painting, but I was not at all aware about sculpture. And then again, in JJ we'll say there is a department called art and craft.
Okay.
So till the date they offer very like total 5 to 6 courses like ceramic, metal craft, textile. Okay. So actually that college was a British
training
era.
center?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the whole syllabus was set in those days.
All right. So when you say like एक बार you were visiting JJ College, right?
Yeah.
So during that period, like how long back are we talking? Like which year was that? Like
it is probably in 2000.
2000.
Yeah.
Okay. So what were you doing that time?
2000.
Like were you like just finished with your school and then like you were just exploring and
Yeah,
that's how you encountered?
I finished my higher secondary, and then I thought that I should venture into some other area, and my cousin was applied art in studying in applied art that time, so he's a applied artist now. But so I was very much sure that I'm going to do this thing only. But then I eventually moved to fine arts.
So you had some sort of you saw some things happening maybe with your cousin because he was doing applied arts, and then you saw like
No, I just saw his assignments, and I was very much
okay.
and I was very much fascinated that oh wow, we can do this also as you know formal training. So
that
time that was the only focus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that kind of gives us some idea of how you have already have some attraction towards art. It seems like, because if
Yes.
you had seen your the way you are
Yeah.
describing now,
Yeah.
seeing your cousin's work,
Yeah.
you know that
Yeah.
gives us an idea like कि पहले से
Yes.
शायद आप कलाकारी ये सब में involved होते थे.
हाँ. In college, in school days, I was very much into art. I used
Okay.
to draw. I used to so, but I was not aware about the formal training of art. And as I said, when I visited JJ and to the sculpture department, I was very much fascinated that people were that the students were working for the annual show. So if you have visited JJ School of Art, there is a open premises
Yeah,
outside the
yeah.
sculpture department, and there students were opening the mold, they were carving the stones and wood, and I thought, oh my God, where this world was hidden. And I thought, this is like it was a call.
Got it. Got it.
So I thought, whatever people say or whatever our parents say, I have to do this, and so I, uh,
You opted
yeah,
for
I
that.
opted.
And how was your parents' reactions? Like, you know, like with a lot of the artists that I've talked with, and in general
Yeah.
also, you know, you have very. It's not that the parents is against,
Yes.
you know, their child going into this kind of field, but then because they do care about their
Yeah.
children, so they, you know, want them to be careful about, you know,
Yeah.
so that your future is secured, or you
Yeah.
know. So in
Yeah.
that way, like, were you facing any challenges or?
Yeah, I faced challenges. Challenges means I just had to answer their questions, which I was not at all aware of. Also, the answers I was also not aware
Okay.
of these answers, and yeah, my father used to say that it's a time pass activity. Like you can do this, you can anyways do this side by side. Like you
Okay.
have to have degree, and you. But then I had like I opted for degree, but unfortunately I didn't know some formalities which I had to go through. So I did my diploma there in
Okay.
JJ. Yeah.
Okay. So diploma, like 4 years diploma.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you were working with what, like with woodwork or ceramic?
I recently I'm working in wood, but mm, like till the fourth year of graduation, I was just understanding the material, because it was very hard for a girl from a middle class family to know the grinder, drill machine, all the things, you know, like so. Um, what is mold? How we take a mold? So yeah. So till fourth year, I just
So
tried.
you had taken sculpture already in
Yes.
that time.
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't like drawing or painting something that you?
I did many drawings in fourth year.
Okay.
You will not believe. All over the college, I have like been to and drew many
Okay.
drawings. Yeah.
So why sculpture then? Like, was it? What was about sculpture that made you choose?
That's what
that
I
way?
said. No, I really was very much fascinated about the process.
Okay.
So when I first time saw people opening the mold and something is coming out of it, so I thought, oh my God, this is something very unusual, and that is what fascinated me the most, I think.
And then traveling from Mumbai to
Yeah.
then to Baroda.
Yeah. So we in JJ didn't have masters in sculpture. So here I heard there are only 3 seats for outside states. So that was a big fight for me because I almost 4 times I tried
Okay.
uh, my luck in to get admission in masters.
Okay.
So finally in 2014 I got admission. That was almost a 9 year gap in between my graduation and
Okay.
masters. So yeah, and now if I'll see, I think it was good for me because I could see the other side of life,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which eventually came into my process
Mm-hmm.
and became a very powerful subject.
I think also for the listeners, I think this is such a interesting thing that you have just shared. How there was a gap of span of like
Yeah,
almost 9 years,
yeah,
right? And still, I think the inspiration is like you didn't give up.
yeah,
You actually really wanted to have achieve this thing.
yeah,
Like for yourself.
yeah.
So listeners, like if you sometimes feel that life is not going according to your side, or you feel like the tide is against you, then inspiration, yeah.
No, I will like to add one thing here that when we get when we take formal education in college, you learn the process of sculpting,
Mm-hmm.
but to know the sculptural language,
Mm-hmm.
it takes time because you learn many things together. You learn history, you learn aesthetics. So your practice is amalgamation of all these things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said I think it was good for me
Good for
to
you.
uh,
Yeah.
join in
I think
master.
that's a positive attitude. That's I
Yeah.
think very important for a lot of people, because artists being very sensitive beings a lot of the time. Like
Yes.
sensitive, emotional hota hai. And the emotional representation can come from, let's say, sometimes time to time work,
Yeah.
and a lot of the time also in action, right? They can
Yeah.
become very aggressive, they can be
Yes.
very isolated, and
Yeah.
this sort of and
Yeah.
to hear that you actually took this opportunity of 9 years gap, and you're not looking at it as a loss.
Yeah.
Rather, you are sharing it in terms of like how it actually gave you the time to understand the
Yes.
media of
Yeah.
sculpture. तो ये मुझे लगता है कि बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है आपने जो शेयर किया, लाइक बिकॉज these days I think also because of technology, resources, and how
Yes.
everything is becoming so fast,
Yes.
we as an individual, we tend to want the result very fast also.
Yeah.
Expectation बहुत जल्दी होता है ना. मैंने
Yeah.
एक काम किया, अब सोशल मीडिया है, सोशल मीडिया में अपलोड किया, we kind of like expect also some interaction or something,
Yeah.
like, but
you want the feedback very
Hmm.
fast. You think that, oh, I have done this, I need a feedback. I have
Yeah,
done this.
yeah.
So in my process it happened very slow pace.
Okay. That's interesting.
So I did work, I worked, I kept it, I worked for a few more years on the same work, I kept it, I again worked on the same work.
Okay.
So it happened in my process.
Alright. And how did this confidence in your work change after coming to Baroda? Like, did it have some sort of impact, like including that gap year, which
Yeah.
you're...
Yeah. Actually, when I finished my graduation, I was there in Mumbai for 3-4 years.
Okay.
I assisted few artists there, and again I was visiting each and every exhibition happening in Mumbai.
Mm-hmm.
So I met people there. I met many art. Like, I didn't meet anyone, but I saw works by Shilpa Gupta, many contemporary artists who were like emerging, and that period of time. So I saw their practice and their language of representation, and that inspired me a lot. During that period I was also very much into ready-made objects and
Okay. Okay.
So I used to use such things. Mm, uh, and when I came to Baroda, um, I strikingly noticed that uh, in Baroda there is indigenous qualities are practiced,
Okay.
and very intentionally the narrative
Okay.
uh, practices are being revised.
Okay.
So that made me to think about the other side of representation of art in
Okay.
that period of time. So in between these time, in between, I actually saw many artists who were practicing in Baroda and are from Baroda. So I got to know the conscious take of Barodian artists,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and uh, then I realized the value of Bombay group also. So progressive group, if you see.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever we learned in history of
Yeah.
Indian arts, that I could see the live evidences in Baroda actually.
Okay. Yeah, 2013 you were saying, no? 2000 around.
I came to Baroda in 2008.
Oh,
Yeah.
that time अपना MSU must have been like very different. I
Yes.
also remember like the first time I had come like
Yeah.
2013 I think I was here. So apart now it's like very modernized sort of
Yes. Yes.
faculty, but like at that time like you know it was still like very jungly and we had all
No,
those
it
logs.
was more open.
Open, yeah.
More open. No, I'm not talking about the infrastructure of the this thing faculty, but when I saw MSU in art history, there were people who were married and
Yeah.
who were of their teacher's age.
Yes, yes.
So it was very open. I was very surprised that students are calling their teachers by their name. They are sitting there having chai with them, and so this was very new for me. And that, like, in classroom it was okay, but outside they were very much friendly with each other.
Mhm.
So uh, this was also very much new to me actually.
And I believe that created some sort of sense of like you know welcoming
Yes.
in atmosphere, you know. Sometimes कुछ कॉलेज में ऐसे हो सकता है कि यार
Yeah.
थोड़ा ऐसा लगता है ना कि यार
Yeah.
openly communicate नहीं कर पाएंगे,
Yeah.
like you know we
Yeah.
maybe are afraid of the subject that we want to talk about, you know.
Yes.
And it can clash or it can go
Yeah.
against, you know, and that openness might not be there because
Mhm.
we don't know about that place. But I think for me also very similar when I came to Baroda. So that time JJ College के dean थे Mr. Kashinath Salve.
Salve, yes.
So he was the one who was like recommended, "Arey, go no." So I met him in my hometown in McLeodganj.
Oh.
So at that time I was 12th standard and
Yeah.
तो बोर्ड एग्जाम हो रहा था, सब लोग अपना दोस्तों लोग सब पढ़ाई कर रहा है, बट आई वाज so I saw this artist Bahula, his name is, he is a visual artist from Chennai.
Okay.
Simple guy with his daughter. They were sitting on the roadside in McLeodganj and doing painting. So for me that was the first time when I saw like an artist like sitting in the road and like he's making this really small pictures of painting of his hometown, the sea beach side, ऐसे सब बना रहे थे and people were buying. So I got very like interested and in my bag I didn't have like the 12th standard का किताब and all, but I had my sketchbook with me and charcoal. So I just sat with him and you know I was like, teach me, you know, like कुछ तो सिखा दो. And he's like, hey, you draw man. And then one guy asked like, "Can you do my portrait?"
Yeah.
And then
Uh.
I said, "I don't know how to do portrait." Then this Bahula artist, he was like,
Mm.
"Arey, you can do like charge
Mm.
whatever you want." So
Mm.
I was in 12th standard, so I just said $100.
Mm.
And I did some portrait, and slowly I understood कि oh my god, drawing करके भी मैं कमा सकता हूँ.
Yes.
So I was doing part-time work in restaurants so that I can get free meal.
Mm.
But when I got to know like कि हाँ यार drawing portrait बना के अगर मैं 100 रुपये कमा सकता हूँ, that was like a very new feeling. And that's when I met Kashinath Salve sir.
Okay.
So he was one of the like my art teacher during that time in KV school. So the teacher, she was teaching in the primary section. So I don't know them. But Kashinath Salve sir had come to McLeod to meet this Tibetan doctor.
Okay.
So he's very famous, and तो वो हमारा family friend है. So
Okay.
my teacher connected to me and told me like there's one sir coming and we want to arrange this. Can you appoint
Okay.
ऐसा? So I had no idea about who Kashinath Salve sir is. Okay. So but one thing led to the other. Like
Yes.
so the teacher had come to visit McLeodganj, and that time Kashinath Salve sir was with her. And he saw me doing portraits on the street.
Oh.
And he also didn't realize like I was the one who had done the appointment and everything. So he just saw and then he left. And the next day my teacher called me up. She's also a visual artist, Sarvamitra ma'am. So she told me like the sir is here, he wants to meet you, and like that. So I gone to her house, and during that day Kashinath Salve sir was like they had gone out, so वापस नहीं आए थे. And I was taking some watercolor classes from madam. And मैं wait करके I fell asleep on the doorstep of madam's house. And then I woke up, it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, oh my god, I have to go back home. And in mountain तो पता है ना, like बहुत weather जाना होता है. So I was just walking, and then suddenly out of nowhere in the darkness someone called my name. मुझे तो पहले लगा भूत होगा. But there is saying no in पहाड़ वहाड़ में ऐसा होता है ना कि यार कोई अंधेरा से if somebody calls your name, it has to be 3 times, then only you can look back, like all these things are like that, no? And we are like students, no? तो मैं ऐसा, who is calling my name? Then ma'am and sir and her husband, they were all coming by walk. Then ma'am was also like, what are you doing till late? Then I told like, ma'am, you told me to come, so I came, but nobody was there, so I waited and I fell asleep. That's when I first met Kashinath Salve sir.
Okay.
And he was like, I saw you on McLeodganj street, like that. So he also suggested to me that मैं army join करने वाला था because I went to KV school.
Okay.
So for me it was like I want to join the Air Force and all that ऐसा. But after meeting Kashinath Salve sir, he was like, hey, you just take 1 year, go to this college, just have a look. And for me that was a big turning point because like why I am sharing is because with a lot of people I come down to this question because it was a pivotal point.
Yes.
अगर वो इंसान उस वक्त नहीं मिला होता ना, then I think something else would have happened. But that in itself is so like, तो इसलिए मैं पूछ रहा था कि accidental हो सकता है, maybe it is also fate, like if you believe in such things, like fate, destiny and all this, like, जो होना है वो होगा ऐसा वाला. So that's why I was just sharing with you like.
No, I clearly remember the day. Because, so that has some space in my mind. Yeah, that happens.
So we will now go into talking about your work, your practice. Like the kind of subjects that you are into, that you would want to include in your work, and or we can just start with like something like when you are starting a work.
Yeah.
What is the thoughts in your head?
Yeah. So I will like to say something that we were talking about MSU, the introduction of MSU. When I went through the interview first time in MSU, that interview made me very much aware of what I am doing, what you are going to do, and what you should know about. So that was a like wake up call.
So that time also the selection process was like
Yes,
all
same.
the department ka
Yeah, yeah,
sab
yeah.
ek, like when we had come also,
Yes.
I think that was the last
Theory
time.
paper, practical, and interview.
Okay.
All three
All three you had to give,
things.
huh?
Yeah. And that time, Colonel sir were there.
Okay.
So he like
What kind of questions did they ask? Now I'm very curious. Like, if you want
so
to share.
I think I was very childish at that time, and I clearly word to word I remember.
Okay.
And yeah, he was asking about my favorite artists,
Okay.
and I was telling about Barbara Hepworth and all. So she is a British sculptor. So sir was telling me about her,
Mhm.
and he asked me that what do you think is um, main characteristics of your practice,
Okay.
what how you put your work. So I said I'm very true to my whatever subject or emotions, whatever. So he asked me, oh, then do you think other students who are giving interview, they are not true, why should we give admission to you?
Oh.
So this thing was there in my mind for years. But then I started going to college for each and every lecture, for many seminars, and so slowly, gradually, I trained myself. And so, as I said, there was a big gap in between my
Mhm.
bachelor's and master's. I actually came to Baroda that time. So I started going to faculty uh, in such and attend such programs, and uh,
To be-
there I got conscious about the sculptural language,
Okay.
and what is sculpture, what is painting, what 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 differentiates a object as
Mhm.
any ordinary object to a sculpture. So these were all questions were like hopping in my mind every time, and then I started thinking about the things in my surrounding.
Mhm.
So what I see daily, what I see or hear, or like what I am in between.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what is my surrounding? So I became very conscious about that, and that eventually came into my process, that I started uh, adopting those objects, those forms into my practice, and I reached to a work
Got it.
like uh, uh, one work I like to refer is missing from my kitchen.
Missing from
Missing
my.
from my kitchen.
Okay.
So there I did many ladles. I think you
I
have
think I've
seen.
seen you.
Yeah.
Yeah. In
So
masters you had
yes,
done, no?
yeah. So it slowly evolved through my understanding of surrounding.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the works that actually caught my eye
Hmm.
during
Hmm.
period when you were also
Yeah,
there in
yeah,
college
yeah,
and I
yeah.
was also there,
Yeah.
and we were just junior, no,
Yes.
we are also in that wala blank wala space,
Very
but
lost.
I still remember the work, a tablecloth that you had done,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like मेरे लिए वो बहुत fascinating था कि very hard material, but at the same time the way you had treated,
Yeah.
and the kind of detailing that you were putting in,
Yes.
that was like one of the work that really like got into me, like
Yeah.
and at that time also I think you were working on the series of that later,
Yes.
है ना,
Hmm.
ऐसा. So like my question now is like, uh, because you talked about found objects, right? Ordinary
Yeah.
objects, and you were also expressing how you have adopted this also practice in your
Hmm.
own work, right?
Hmm.
Uh, how do you choose, like, among so many things are there?
Hmm.
तो इतना सारा सामान में से
Hmm.
for you to be like कि हाँ this is something communicates with me or this is something that maybe has a interpretation of what you're feeling या emotionally, तो वो कैसे आपको पता चल जाता है, like how do you?
I think it's a very long process. Uh, there are some memories of things in your mind from since your childhood. Some memories are very clear, some are hazy. So, like I think there are layers of memories, as in when we get educated, and so yeah, it when you sit down and think about some particular area of it, it comes with all those layers.
Got it.
So, like I have seen my mother doing those silai kadai kaam and all, stitching and all, and again hand embroidery I have seen. So my father used to sew sweaters. He was in Bhopal for many years, so he used to make sweaters. So he used to discuss the design of the sweater with me.
Oh wow.
So when I was reading about Agnes Martin, I was reading the article on her work. So her elder sister, I think, elder or younger, I don't know, but her sister used to do some cloth works,
Okay.
and those grids were in her mind since her childhood. So I think that might have happened, or so yeah. And again, I
Like
was
initially,
yeah.
you know, you like when you begin, there's a lot of like memories also coming,
Yeah.
and then a lot of usi time, like on that time you are like purposely choosing certain objects.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of filtering process, right?
Yeah. You
But
need a trigger.
Yeah, gradually you also start filtering out the ones that you have chosen.
Yeah.
From there also you start to filter, no, like to maybe.
Yes.
Like I'm just asking, is that like your process? Because like subjectively, when we look at things, then I think that's one way to look at the work. But then also when, especially with your work, because the objects that you display are not always found objects.
Yeah.
And the kind of materials that you use to depict those objects, I find that very interesting, fascinating. So how do you come to that, like?
Yeah, when I took the formal education of these things, no, in sculpture department, I thought, how will I apply this in my life?
Okay.
So I, like my generation, we are in between, like that we have seen televisions coming, and now this technology has taken another form, and so yeah. So what I mean to say here is, so we have gone through the conventional trainings also, like emotional trainings, I'm saying, being a girl, being a woman, what you have to do and all. So those all things were there in my mind. But as my mom used to show her art in stitching and all, how I will show my art. So I thought I should take wood.
Alright.
So, and the forms were already there in the storage.
Okay.
So they eventually started coming out. That's
Alright.
what, and I was fascinated with the arrangements of the things very
Mhm.
much. So if you see my works, there are many arrangements
Yeah.
which are important part of my.
Can you like give us some uh, titles of your work and maybe
Yeah.
give us brief description about those
Yeah.
works so
Yeah.
that the listeners can
Yeah,
also.
recently I had a show in Gallery White in December 2023. So um, from the show, I have exhibited my work Semiotics of the Kitchen. Again, tools. Then next is you can refer to toys.
So kitchen, because it's associated more with the female, like in terms of the societal
Yeah,
structure.
yeah,
That's why.
yeah.
Okay,
But it's not only about kitchen.
got
It
it.
it suggests many other things.
All right.
Like the undercurrents are
Mhm.
very vague, you can say.
And arrangement, you were talking about also the
Yeah.
manner of how you
Yeah.
arrange things. So why is that like, and like for you, is it like?
I am still solving that. I read somewhere that when you are very much disturbed, you like things very much arranged. So I think there are many things in my mind, and that's the reason my works are very arranged and very like regimental
Okay.
manner. I have displayed the works. Probably there are some things in my mind.
Mhm.
And, yeah.
And so the first series of work that you were talking about,
Yeah.
can you please?
Yeah. Again, there are works like Vessel, Daily Talks, Missing from My Kitchen again.
Mhm.
So, Missing from My Kitchen is the title actually. So, I took the references, and when you practically deal with the things in life, uh, being artist, you have one imaginary area active
Got it, yeah.
in one corner, and again you are tackling with many other practical things of
Mhm.
life. So to balance those things, I think I have mixed two different things where the
Mhm.
arrangement suggests you some particular thing, and it also gives some other options to uh,
Mhm.
imagine
Okay.
about that particular object.
So like, I mean, the recent works that I'm currently seeing also,
Mhm.
it's very much also abstract sort of, you can say, like in some
Yeah.
way it's very abstract, like the
Mhm.
form that you're using.
Yeah.
Like it's just my personal this,
Yeah.
like when I first see your work like now,
Mhm.
before it was like very identifiable
Yeah.
sort of
Right.
visuals. Now after like almost 10 years or decade, my first reaction is like, okay, I am familiar with Arte's work, but at the same time now, suddenly seeing the work is like becoming very abstract also. And so for me, that's why this reason, like, to do a
Yeah.
podcast with you, because like, what's the journey like? क्योंकि काफ़ी सारे मैंने देखा like artists who do a lot of representational work also, no? कहीं ना तो कहीं फिर एक बात कुछ थोड़ा we start to subtract a lot
Yeah,
of things,
subtract, yeah.
So for you, how is the process like? Is the process telling you like कि हाँ अभी इसमें नहीं, ये सब नहीं चाहिए, या आप डिसाइड कर रहे हो कि नहीं, जो चीज़ अभी मैं कर रहा हूँ उसमें ये सब नहीं चाहिए? So how is it like, the work telling you or you telling the work?
Sometimes I keep the process organic, but when I have to deal with form, I tried to, uh, you know, tried to keep myself bound to what is there or what was there in my mind, the diagram of the thing. You know, my mother used to take tailoring classes.
Okay.
So she taught to many uneducated girls.
All right.
I have seen many girls who didn't know subtraction and addition also, but she had that skill. I don't know how she taught them, but so she used to ask them to make diagrams of the whatever they want to stitch, to make the diagrams. So those diagrams are very important in that process also.
Okay.
Many times I make diagrams of my work. I cut it, I keep it on wall, or
so the process, like where a lot of the tailors also they do not.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
exactly.
I do stitching as well,
Yeah,
but like
okay.
for myself, like because like my mom in our house we had a very different kind of upbringing. तो उसमें ऐसा था कि लड़का लड़की कुछ नहीं है. My sister will also do all the boys work, and we should also know how to do stitching and everything. So out of all my brothers and sisters, like I was the only one who was actually very interested in sewing. So I used to do a lot of pillowcase sewing and ऐसे. तो बचपन में पॉकेट मनी मिल जाता था. मम्मी बोलती है कि तुम अपना आर्ट करके कोई फ्रेंड का अंकल को भेज दिया तो 50 रुपए मिल गया. वाओ, you know, and gloves and all this I used to do, like. So like now I see there's lot of artists also using this as a media, you know. But when you're sharing now, that is one of the क्या बोलते हैं वो behind the scenes वाला चीज है ये. So that I find it interesting. Like you are not bringing that fully in front of the work, but that is actually behind the scenes inspirations. That's very interesting. तो उससे फिर कैसे आपका ये हुआ, like?
So as I said, I was thinking about sculptural language. I was also seeing many painters, but I thought there is some major difference in between painting and sculpture. So I started reading and like thinking about it, and I got to know that why sculpture has a greater appeal on people is because it exists in the physically, it exists. As you are standing, a sculpture is also standing. So that's the major, it has a borderline as you have a borderline. So
that physicality.
Yeah, the physicality of the sculpture appeals a lot. I don't know about people, but I have seen people getting more open to 3 dimension. Like when you go to Kailash temple, it's a sculpture. So it's a. So that's what I felt. Like I reached to the point where I got to understand the main characteristic of sculpture. So I was thinking that though it has that boundary, how to bypass the boundary of the sculpture?
Yeah.
You know, it's
yes, I think I understand what you mean.
Yeah,
I understand.
Because it's the major task of the sculptor to reach to the meaning of the whole sculpture. So if you think about the Walking Man by Rodin, you know, what he has shown in the work is totally different than the physicality of it.
Yeah.
So that's why it is a prominent sculpture in history. Same way we will think about Gangavataran Shilpa from Indian history. So I could see the connections, like I could connect the dots when
Mhm.
like I
Like
I
sometimes I feel
yeah.
your work. See, there are sometimes no like not that I'm uh, saying like it is like this or anything, but sometimes you can see like कि हाँ ये एक शायद फीमेल आर्टिस्ट ने किया है या ये एक मेल आर्टिस्ट ने किया है, वो एक इम्प्रेशन ऑटोमेटिकली अपने दिमाग में रीड हो जाता है ना.
Right.
Like even in design also,
Yes.
the feminine qualities जो डिज़ाइन में होता है वो मेल ओरिएंटेड के जो डिज़ाइन होता है उसमें बहुत फ़र्क होता है, आसमान ज़मीन फ़र्क होता है. like
Yeah,
my
yeah.
observation. And but in your case like it's like कि we don't actually get that idea of like कि ये एक वुमेन ने किया है या एक मेल ने किया. नॉट दैट इट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट, बट यूजली मैं ये बोलना चाहता हूँ कि कोई ऐसा काम करता है तो उसका एक रिफ्लेक्शन जैसा दिखने लगता है ना. ये नाउ देयर इज लॉट ऑफ फीमेल आर्टिस्ट लाइक रिसेंटली इन गोवा आल्सो लाइक lot of female artists, they are using the cloth, the textile, the stitching method to express a lot of things, right?
Yes.
But in your case you have not approached it in that way. Like the materials that you use are like very like whoa, like wood. There's a lot of like metal also there. There's a lot. So that selection, how is it happening? Like
That's what I said. Like I thought how I can show my art
yeah.
being a sculptor, and I stick to that.
Okay.
I think I knew that there is some way, but I had to find that way out. I knew that you can unlock the like whatever, uncode it, but the key of it is you have to stick to it.
Stick to it. All right. And
So-
you are comfortable with like exploring with the materials rather than just sticking to one
Yes.
specific material,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean like क्योंकि a lot of the times now these days when we talk, I conversing with a lot of people, so they also tell me like अरे तू भी तो sculptor है, you are also a sculptor, like but then I have to try and explain to them like for me now the sculptural aspect, like now you were sharing your story about how for you sculpture क्या है, वो border line क्या है जिसको तोड़ के जाना है, but at the same time also retaining the sculptural qualities, right? So for me now also I think I am in that process. So after finishing my masters, to be very honest, I have not like done so much of sculptural work. I have not done any painting work, but I have been working a lot with sounds.
Okay.
So like from childhood I have always been very fascinated. I have been working with sounds पहले से करता था, and I was always very interested in nature and birds. So मैं बचपन से जंगल में घूमता हूँ, मेरा खुद का ऐसे बाइनोकुलर्स और ये सब है. And I'll go to the mountains, select soil, I'll go and find insects, फिर उनका आवाज़ कैसे होता है, ये सब करता था. I used to do. Like my mom wanted me to become an environmentalist basically, which did not happen because I told my mom like यार मैं कुछ करना चाहता हूँ, but like I will use that issue या subject in my work, and I think when I am in that position I can maybe express it better. तो I think for now like मुझे समझ आ रहा है कि मेरा interaction with the biodiversity is उस तरफ जा रहा है मेरा काम ऐसा, like but culturally कैसा, तो there I try to use my body as the main piece, like performance जैसा ऐसा, and using silence as also part of the sound, like तो but मैं फिर बोलने की कोशिश करता हूँ दोस्तों को कि यार ये like what I'm saying is not a fixed answer, like because art तो हर दिन हर समय के साथ बदलते रहता है. आज if your parents are coming to see the work now, they will also be like ये क्या है, and then you will also have a different way of narrating to them because they are your parents, they know you inside out, but these are something then oh ये क्या है,
exactly.
So that I find very interesting. And So like choices of जो आपका ये है ना वो मुझे बहुत interesting लगता है.
Yeah, I think there are two ways of understanding the things.
Okay.
One is cerebrally you can understand it,
All right.
and one is experiential. So probably like many people, I am not saying that this is this is right or this is wrong.
Yeah.
But it's up to like it's very subjective that
Mhm.
how you approach to the subject, like approach to any thing. So I think that those who go in the process based practice, they believe on experiential understanding.
All right.
So, and that is very much important in the process, I think, to find your way of understanding things.
So this is just a very random
Yeah.
out of the box का question. It may be related, but it may not be
Yeah,
related.
yeah.
But like, how does politics all like come into play? Like, does it? Is there
In my
politics? Is there like because like
I don't.
You don't think so,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think. I don't consider it in my practice.
yeah,
I
give me high
think.
five like. We never know now because
Yeah.
sometimes like last time I was having this conversation with one of the printmakers and
Yeah.
he was telling me, I asked like in one of the work there was a knife. But again, like a kitchen setting sort of thing, there was a
Yeah.
cat, some knives are there. So I asked him like what the knife symbolizes. Like, is there a particular reason why that knife is there? Because it's been repeating in some of the series. So then that person gave a very like unexpected answer, like how this is actually related to maybe political, you know,
Okay.
sort of like his stand or her stand. I said, okay. So that's why I was just curious, like, you know. And because any object like can or cannot be identified with you know a simple
Yes.
object as let's say a coconut.
Yeah.
You know, if a person who is doing coconut farming and he's coming from a farmer's family and then with the current government situation and all this, you know, then the importance
Yes.
of coconut is so much different now.
Yeah.
That's asking like so me as a questionnaire here, I have to like also ask just this kind of questions. But I'm not saying that there is any political sort of there, but काफी बार unexpectedly भी फिर लोगों के पास
See,
होता है
you
ना ऐसा।
cannot escape yourself from the social structure. ये तो अब तक मुझे पता चला
Okay.
कि there are hierarchies. So, you being a prime minister or being any damn artist, you are like part of the social structure.
Yes.
And you have to deal with any person in your life. So when I used to travel to my studio in Mumbai, I had a studio in Mumbai.
Okay.
So I used to travel from my house to the studio, and on railway stations there used to be no ladies toilets.
Okay.
So I had to wait
Till you got home.
till I go home back.
Okay.
So sometimes I used to go some public places like cinema theaters or somewhere where I can go. So I'm not the only woman who is, you know,
True.
out there in the social structure. There are n numbers of girls who are traveling. They are also suffering from the same thing. So, as I said, that work has many undercurrents to it. These all things are there in my mind, but surface is very important for me. The thing which comes on surface is very important for me. How did I take all these things is very important, and how do I show all these things is also very important, because I truly feel that art has that power to evoke that
Mm-hmm.
feeling if you had put it in it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
yeah.
got it. Nice. So
Um,
the recent current works, like it's more
So-
oriented towards. Oh, is that so?
So these are all terracotta works. So actually, I'm not into terracotta very much,
Okay.
but I've tried and some metal things, and I'm thinking about some more
Woodward.
not woodworks, but some paperworks on
nice.
the wall. I
Like
think.
I've seen some those sort of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know how to put
These
those
formats.
ideas.
Yeah, these formats look like the
Hmm.
the story that you shared about the tailors का वो जो
Yeah.
diagram है
Exactly,
वो
exactly.
एकदम से मुझे पहला
Yeah.
वही लग रहा था.
हाँ,
It's
हाँ,
very
हाँ.
similar to that approach.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Cool. And what about your responses when you were having your exhibition?
Oh, it was great. I enjoyed the whole month there in gallery, interacting with people, and
What were like some of the common questions that you encountered during your?
I will tell a very funniest remark with you that I'd like to share it. Oh, आप तो दिखते नहीं हो इतना serious काम करने वाले. So it was. I said, yeah, I sometimes enjoy standing aside and seeing people see my work. See, I don't know. Like, I think there is some common understanding
Okay.
of people. It may be from any other different culture or language or practices,
Okay.
but we tend to refer to the forms.
All right.
We tend to see the drawing in particular way.
Mhm.
We tend to find the links in between the visual and the actual world.
Mhm.
So being like ज़रूरत नहीं है कि आप आर्टिस्ट हो. आप कोई भी ऑब्जेक्ट एक देखते हो, उसका कुछ लिंक मेमोरी से जुड़ा हुआ होता है.
Mhm.
So I think that is there in my work, and people talk with me about it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So they talk about their storage of memory. What do they experience,
Mhm. Mhm.
or what memory they had.
Okay.
तो वो एक इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट हो जाता है मेरे लिए,
All right.
टू टॉक विद पीपल.
Okay. Nice. So, listeners, I'm just going to give you a short tour at this studio. Can be
Yes,
for the
sure.
people. So, like, maybe you can also like give some description about. I'll be like holding. पूरा देसी स्टाइल है अपना podcast, so I'll be holding the mobile phone like this, and you can give me some like introduction or some idea about how the process is happening, because I think like final जो डिस्प्ले में होता है वो तो एक है, like that's okay, like, and that can also change with the kind of space you are being given, or the work को किस तरह से placement होना चाहिए, like all these things. But then at the same time, for people to also understand the process, like how the process is taking you to things. I think that is very fascinating, like.
Yeah.
And now in this wall, like you can see how you are going like to बहुत ही पीछे का जो मेमोरी है वो अब रिवाइव हो रहा है, ऐसे लग रहा है, like after knowing now the story.
my recent work, I have also added one new work called Maiden Lessons. So the inspiration of those works are from the crochet work which like my mom used to do. So these are some references I took from like internet, but I have added my forms to it and try to make it as a sculpture. I try to see it as a sculpture. So there are many delicate forms now are coming in my works, and I'm also thinking about wallpapers now, and
Paper.
so not I don't know how I
Okay.
the idea about wallpaper I can
Alright.
say. So yeah, and these are some complete works which you can see. Like I am now trying to find out the probabilities of the forms and shapes I can use in my work. And
So these pieces that you are creating, these are also very like you're just going with the flow sort
yes,
of thing,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
These are not like very planned, like इसको इस तरह से ही काटना ऐसा कुछ नहीं. It's
नहीं,
like
नहीं.
getting the material, seeing what is possible in this,
Yeah.
what can we get out.
Not possible, but I have some idea about.
Alright.
Like as I said, I have a pattern, but I try to look out for the probabilities of the things, I think,
Alright.
and arrange it in such a way that it.
So you really enjoy the process of carving?
Yeah. Yes.
There's some connection with wood, like I mean,
Yeah.
having a background
Yeah.
of like mom and dad with textile.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating to see like कि
Hmm.
textile को include ना करके you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
out
yeah.
for a very like a different sort of material.
Yes.
Like what's the reason for that? Like
I don't know. I have to find it. I think the wood is very domestic medium, and that's why I could relate the medium to such subjects, I think. Again, I have used brass. Brass is very ancient medium which we used to use in our daily
utensils and
utensils, yeah. So I think those are the references which are there in my mind.
alright.
Yeah.
But that is also
Yeah, this is like this will go on wall like this. So this is a greater shape actually. In Gujarat, I found that you get graters in tortoise shape forms.
Oh.
So I thought to use them. So
it symbolize anything like tortoise का ऐसा कुछ है?
I don't know, but I somehow am very fascinated with tortoises. I don't know. Tortoise has very long lifespan, and
Yes.
I think that if I live 100 years, then tortoise also can live 100 years. So it is like a human.
And these are some of your ceramic pieces.
Yes. They are not arranged properly.
I think this is a part of a fish.
Yeah. Which I made in faculty.
It's so interesting to see the artists and their setup of the studio, because that I think also in itself is like very artistic.
Yeah.
Like I always find that like मैं बोलता हूँ यार installation art ठीक है यार, but like when you see an artist studio, that in itself is like an installation art only. Like everything is like having its specific place and all that,
exactly,
you know.
exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
What are these tongs for? Like, are these also part of your work?
Yeah, I collected many such objects from Shukrwari market and so the object, the indexical quality of the object
Okay.
is very much like it appealed me a lot.
Okay.
Like it suggests you something.
Mm-hmm.
So particularly this part of this tongue, this part of this tongue. So it suggests you the usage of the same object. So this is what gives a trigger to my imagination.
Alright.
So how?
It questions,
Yeah.
gives
yeah,
questions.
Yeah.
And I suppose these are more your recent works.
Yeah. These are my recent works.
Are these like just forms or seeds? It looks like a seed. Almond egg.
I'm thinking about the objects which holds or carries something. So probably seed is there in my mind, and or a utensil or a
Okay.
pot or the so
This
It has
looks
come
very
from-
like some of these shapes are very organic sort of
yeah.
vibe, but then also at the same time very like proper उसको एक
Hmm.
fixed shape दे दी है. Are these like narrating some sort of journey or like that?
No.
Nothing.
It's just probabilities of.
So listeners, if you have any questions regarding her work, you want to get in touch, you want to see more of her work, you can, I'll be sharing her contact details and email ID, Instagram, everything in the description box, so you can get in touch with her, find out more about her fascinating stories and her process. Yeah, and we will thank Aarti Didi
Thank
for
you very
giving
much
us this
for-
time to listen to her stories and experiences.
Thank you very much.